Olivia Carter is a single mother doing her best to take care of her 5-year-old son Ethan. Life has been hard for them, and Olivia works long hours at low-paying jobs just to make ends meet. One day she hears about a job as a caregiver for a billionaire named Damon Sinclair. The job requires her to help him bathe, and though it's a strange and uncomfortable task, the pay is too good to turn down. Olivia knows this could be the chance she's been waiting for, an opportunity to provide a better life for Ethan. Despite the challenges and the rumors about Damon being difficult to work with, Olivia decides to take the job. She's determined to do whatever it takes to give her son a stable future, even if it means entering a world completely different from her own. The pay is high, but the job is going to be harder than she expected. Olivia walks through the gates of Damon Sinclair's grand estate, feeling completely out of place. The house is huge with towering walls and massive windows. The gardens are perfectly manicured and everything looks expensive. Olivia feels like a stranger in a world she doesn't belong to. Her worn sneakers feel out of place on the pristine grounds, and the large marble steps make her feel small. As she walks up to the front door, she takes a deep breath, trying to push away her nerves. When the door opens, she meets Mrs. Holloway, the housekeeper. Mrs. Holloway is an older woman with a sharp look in her eyes. She glances at Olivia and then speaks in a no-nonsense tone, warning her about the job. "Mr. Sinclair isn't easy to deal with," she says. "Many caregivers have quit before you. It's not a job for the faint-hearted." Olivia feels a mix of nerves and determination. She knows this job is her chance to give Ethan a better future, and she's not going to back down. Despite the warning, she nods and reassures Mrs. Holloway. She is ready for whatever comes next. Olivia steps into the room and sees Damon Sinclair for the first time. She had heard a lot about him, but nothing could have prepared her for the sight of him. She had imagined an older man, frail and weak from his accident. But Damon is far from what she expected. He's young, maybe in his mid-30s, with a strong, muscular build that looks like it belongs on a magazine cover. His body is toned and defined, showing no signs of weakness, even though he's in a wheelchair. His dark hair is a little messy, and he has a sharp jawline covered with a bit of stubble. But it's his eyes that catch Olivia off guard. His icy blue eyes are cold and piercing, staring at her like they can see straight through her. The intensity of his gaze makes her uncomfortable, and she can feel a shiver run down her spine. There's something unsettling about the way he looks at her, as if he's judging her every move. Damon doesn't say much at first. He just watches her, his expression unreadable. After a moment he speaks, his voice deep and smooth. "You're the new one," he says, as if he doesn't care who she is. Olivia introduces herself, but Damon doesn't acknowledge her. Instead, he simply turns his wheelchair slightly, as if dismissing her presence. She's here to bathe him, a task that is awkward and unfamiliar, but she knows she has no choice. The pay is good and she needs the job. Despite the discomfort of the situation, she agrees to proceed and follows him into the bathroom. Olivia steps into the bathroom behind Damon, her nerves growing with every step. The bathroom is more luxurious than anything she has ever seen. Glass walls, a huge soaking tub, and heated floors that feel warm under her feet. But none of that matters right now. She focuses on the task at hand. This is her job. She has to do it. Damon rolls his wheelchair closer to the edge of the tub, then pauses and looks up at her. "Help me undress," he says, his voice calm but firm. Olivia hesitates for a moment. She had known this part of the job was coming, but now that it's real, it feels more difficult than she imagined. She takes a deep breath and steps forward. She reaches for the hem of his shirt, lifting it carefully. As the fabric pulls away, Olivia expects to see the frail, broken body of a man who has been hiding away for months, too weak to care for himself. But that's not what she finds. Instead, she is shocked to see a body that is anything but weak. Damon's muscles are strong and well-defined, his chest broad and firm. His body looks like it belongs to someone who has spent years working out, not someone recovering from an accident. There are faint scars on his skin, reminders of the pain he has endured, but they don't take away from the strength of his physique. Olivia's fingers tremble slightly as she lifts his shirt over his head, her breath catching in her throat. Damon watches her closely, his cold blue eyes never leaving her face. "Like what you see?" he asks, his voice low and almost mocking. Olivia's cheeks burn with embarrassment, but she quickly forces herself to look away, trying to regain control. "This isn't about what I like," she says, keeping her voice steady. "I'm here to do my job." He smirks, clearly testing her professionalism. "I thought that was the point," he replies, his tone teasing. Olivia fights to keep her emotions in check. She had prepared herself for this job, but the closeness, the tension, it's harder to handle than she expected. She focuses on the task ahead, determined not to let Damon's words affect her. She's here for one reason, to take care of her son no matter what it takes. She can't let her feelings get in the way of that. As she moves to help him remove his pants, she feels the heat rising in her cheeks again. The air between them is thick with unspoken tension, but Olivia keeps her head down, forcing herself to remain professional. She needs this job and she won't let anything distract her from her goal, even if it means dealing with moments like this. As Olivia carefully bathes Damon, the tension between them is impossible to ignore. She tries to stay focused on her task, but every time her hands brush against his skin, she feels a spark of something unspoken. Her fingers tremble slightly as she moves the washcloth over his broad shoulders, and she can feel the heat of his body even through the cool water. Damon is unusually quiet, his eyes closed as he lets her work, but there's a tension in the air that neither of them can deny. Every now and then their eyes meet and Olivia quickly looks away, feeling a rush of warmth in her cheeks. He seems to be studying her, his cold blue eyes piercing through her as if trying to figure her out. "Do you always look so serious?" Olivia asks, trying to break the silence and keep her nerves in check. Damon opens his eyes and smirks. "I don't have much to smile about," he replies, his voice low. There's something in his tone that makes Olivia pause. It's not the mocking, distant voice she's gotten used to. For the first time, she senses a crack in his cold exterior. He's not just the rich, aloof billionaire everyone talks about. There's a man behind the walls he's built around himself, and in that moment, Olivia sees a glimpse of it, a vulnerability she hadn't expected. She can't help but wonder what happened to him. The pain in his eyes, the way he tries to hide it, stirs something in her. For a brief moment, she feels a sense of connection, a recognition of the loneliness that they both share. It's strange, but she feels for him. The encounter leaves her shaken, and as she finishes her task, Olivia finds herself questioning everything. What does she really feel for this man? Is it just pity or is there something deeper? After their intimate moment, Damon becomes distant and cold. He stops making eye contact with Olivia, and his usual sharp remarks become more frequent. His aloofness is clear, he's pushing her away. Olivia notices the change, but she doesn't understand why. The man who had briefly shown vulnerability now seems more closed off than ever. It's as if their brief connection never happened. Olivia tries to keep things professional, focusing on her work and not allowing herself to feel anything more. She knows she can't afford to get emotionally involved. She has Ethan to think about, and this job is too important for her to risk everything over a fleeting moment. But the weight of their unspoken feelings lingers in the air between them. Every time she enters his room, she feels the tension, and it makes it harder to concentrate on her duties. One evening, Mrs. Holloway pulls Olivia aside. "Be careful, dear," she warns, her voice low. "Mr. Sinclair has a history of pushing people away when they get too close. He doesn't let anyone in, not even the people who work for him." Olivia listens carefully, the warning sinking in. She knows Mrs. Holloway is right. Damon has been hurt and he's built walls to protect himself. But Olivia can't help the way she feels. Despite his coldness, she finds herself drawn to him in ways she can't explain. She wonders if she can break through his walls, but she also fears what might happen if she does. One afternoon, Olivia's phone rings with news that makes her heart drop. Ethan has collapsed at school. Panic fills her chest as she rushes to grab her coat, her hands shaking. She can barely think straight as she rushes toward the door, but then, to her surprise, Damon's voice calls out to her. "I'm coming with you," he says, his tone firm but calm. Olivia hesitates for a moment, unsure if it's a good idea, but she is too overwhelmed to argue. Without saying a word, she nods and they both hurry to the car. The drive to the school is a blur, with Olivia's mind racing, filled with worry for Ethan. She's too scared to slow down even though Damon gently tells her to take it easy. When they arrive at the school, Olivia almost runs to the infirmary, her heart pounding. The nurse tells her that Ethan has regained consciousness but is weak. They think it's just dehydration, but an ambulance is on its way just to be sure. Olivia breathes a sigh of relief, but the worry still lingers. As she kneels beside Ethan's bed, he weakly looks up at her. "I'm okay, Mom," he says, trying to smile. Olivia's heart aches and she kisses his forehead, whispering that everything will be fine. In the corner, Damon watches quietly, his concern for Ethan clear. Olivia realizes in that moment just how much she has come to rely on him, not just for help with her job, but for emotional support during her most stressful moments. After the incident with Ethan, Damon and Olivia find themselves alone in his room. The tension between them is thick, but neither of them says anything at first. Olivia sits on the edge of the chair, her mind still racing from the events of the day. Damon, however, looks distant, his eyes focused on the floor. Finally, Damon breaks the silence. "I'm not the man I used to be," he says quietly. "I can't stand on my own and I feel broken. I'm afraid you'll see me as nothing more than someone you have to take care of." Olivia looks at him, her heart aching. She can see the vulnerability in his eyes, something he's kept hidden behind his cold exterior. She stands up and walks over to him, kneeling in front of his wheelchair. "Damon, you're not broken," she says softly. "You've been through so much, but I see your strength. You're stronger than you think." Damon shakes his head, looking away. "I can't give you the life you deserve." Olivia takes his hand, her voice firm but kind. "You don't have to give me anything. I'm here because of who you are, not because of what you can or can't do." The air between them shifts, their feelings for each other becoming impossible to ignore. But both hesitate, unsure of what to do next. The attraction is undeniable, but the future is uncertain. Neither of them knows where this path will lead. After their heart-to-heart conversation, the tension between Olivia and Damon is palpable. They stand close, their emotions running high. Olivia looks into Damon's eyes, seeing the vulnerability he's been hiding for so long. He reaches out, his hand brushing against her cheek, a simple gesture that feels like the beginning of something new. Before either of them can speak, Olivia finds herself leaning in. The moment feels inevitable. Their lips meet in a soft, tender kiss, slow and filled with the weight of everything they've been feeling. For a brief second, everything else fades away. The barriers between them, built by fear and uncertainty, begin to break down. It's a moment of connection, one that feels both intimate and powerful. When they pull away, Olivia's breath is shaky. She knows what this kiss means. She's falling for him more than she ever expected. But the reality of her situation quickly sets in. She takes a step back, her heart pounding. "I didn't plan for this," she says quietly. "I didn't plan to feel this way." Damon watches her, his expression softening. "You don't have to explain. I understand." Olivia swallows, her mind racing. "But my son Ethan, he's my priority. I can't let anything get in the way of his future. I'm scared that a relationship with you might affect everything I've worked for." Damon nods slowly, understanding her fear. They both know that what they have is complicated, and the future is uncertain. After their kiss, Olivia is determined to keep her distance. She focuses all her energy on her job and Ethan's well-being. Every day, she tells herself that she can't let her feelings for Damon get in the way of her responsibilities as a mother. Ethan needs her, and she can't afford to lose focus now. She becomes more professional around Damon, trying to maintain a clear boundary between them. But Damon doesn't make it easy. He continues to show his support for both Olivia and Ethan in ways that surprise her. He checks in on Ethan when she's not around, offering his help without hesitation. He listens to Olivia when she talks about her struggles, providing a comfort she didn't expect. His gestures, though small, show his growing commitment to them both. Olivia feels torn. She knows she's becoming more drawn to him, but she also knows that getting involved with him could complicate everything. Her primary focus is still Ethan, and she can't risk anything that might interfere with his stability. But Damon won't let go. He continues to be there for her, offering a sense of security she never thought she'd find. Their relationship becomes a delicate balance, her feelings for him growing stronger, yet always weighed down by her duty as a mother. Olivia is caught in a constant struggle, unsure of how to move forward without risking everything she's worked for. One evening, after days of silent tension, Damon takes a deep breath and looks at Olivia with sincerity in his eyes. "Olivia," he begins, his voice steady but filled with emotion, "I know this hasn't been easy, but I can't hide how I feel anymore. I love you. I want you in my life, and I want us to build a future together." Olivia's heart races as she hears his words. She spent so much time fighting her feelings, telling herself she couldn't get involved, that her priority was Ethan. But hearing Damon's confession makes her realize how deeply she cares for him. She's afraid of what a relationship with him might mean for her and Ethan's future. She's afraid of getting hurt, afraid of the unknown. "I'm scared," Olivia admits, her voice trembling slightly. "Scared of what this could mean. I've spent so long making sure Ethan and I have a stable life. I don't know how to let go of that fear." Damon looks at her gently. "I understand," he says. "But we can face whatever comes together. You don't have to carry everything on your own. I'm here and I want to fight for us. For you." Olivia takes a deep breath, feeling the weight of his words. She knows this isn't going to be easy, but she also knows that their connection is real. With a trembling smile, she looks at him and says, "I'm ready to fight too. For us." With that, Olivia makes the final choice to embrace her feelings, opening her heart to the future they could build together. Olivia takes a deep breath, her heart full of hope as she finally accepts Damon's love. She's made her choice, and despite the fears that once held her back, she's ready to embrace the future with him. The thought of sharing her life with Damon, and having him be a part of Ethan's, feels right. She knows it won't be easy, but they will face it together as a family. The next morning, everything feels a little brighter. Ethan is in a better mood, his energy returning after his collapse. Olivia watches him and Damon, who is now more present than ever, laughing together as they prepare breakfast in the kitchen. Damon, despite his challenges, has become a steady source of support for both Olivia and Ethan. He jokes around with Ethan, flipping pancakes in his wheelchair while Olivia stands by, smiling at the peaceful scene unfolding before her. For the first time in a long while, Olivia feels a sense of balance in her life. She has a job she cares about, a son she loves more than anything, and a man who truly sees her, not as someone broken but as someone strong. The future is uncertain, full of challenges, but there is love now. Love that makes everything feel possible. As Olivia, Damon, and Ethan sit down to breakfast together, there's a quiet sense of contentment in the air. Their new beginning has just started, and though they don't know what the future holds, they are ready to face it together.